יודעת שישוב לכאן בעוד 2000 שנה, דמעות מרטיבות את לחיה ובוקות השממה, מיני קולך מבכי ועינייך מדמעה, כי דמעותייך הביאו אותם אל שלווה ונחמה, מיני קולך מבכי ועינייך מדמעה, הביטי רחל, הם חוזרים הביתה, חוזרים אל אמא, אל אמא אדמה, אל אמא אדמה.
Good evening and welcome to the 4th Sovereignty Conference here in Jerusalem, our eternal capital. Honored rabbis, honored Knesset members, Moti Yogev, Yehuda Glik, all those whom I can't see in the dark, welcome to you, to the dear members of the Sovereignty Forum. Thank God we are seeing a great deal of progress these days in the movement towards the goal of applying sovereignty. In the first, second, and third conferences, we set a goal to cause this idea of sovereignty to penetrate the awareness. And thank God we can say that the idea is gaining momentum, and the purpose of this conference is to advance legislation that will apply sovereignty over Judea and Samaria. When we started to plan this conference, we didn't know that it would be held just before the Prime Minister's meeting, the historic meeting with President Donald Trump. It was decided in the heavens that that's how it would be, and we hope that what is said here will indeed serve the Prime Minister on this important journey. Mr. Prime Minister, we would like to say to you this evening 3 things. First of all, it's time for sovereignty. 2, you have a historic opportunity on your watch, and you have the ability to leverage it. 3, our Arab neighbors are also starting to understand that there's something new happening here, and they are thinking of the possibility of living together under Israeli sovereignty. Indeed, the time for sovereignty has come. We have a survey conducted by Magar Machot Institute that shows that 75% of the Jewish population is interested of the application of sovereignty in different ways and modes, and only 7% favor the establishment of a Palestinian state. This is the time for sovereignty, because the idea of the Palestinian state has died, crashed, and burned. And the idea of establishing that kind of state in the center of our land was a sad illusion that cost us terrible sacrifices of peace. The Oslo plan failed, even though Barak and Olmert were willing to pay in hard coin and to give up all of Judea and Samaria, to divide Jerusalem, and to give up the Temple Mount. Mr. Prime Minister, indeed, this is a historic opportunity that you have. We should have applied sovereignty 50 years ago, immediately after the Six-Day War. We missed a historic opportunity because we were not prepared for that great victory. We did not have plans for that momentous time. There are other opportunities along the way that were also missed, including, for example, after terrible UN resolutions, which I won't go into here. For 8 years, Mr. Prime Minister, you stopped and prevented the establishment of a Palestinian state. And you also worked against the Iranian plan, and without your work we would be in a very bad situation. You managed under very harsh conditions to succeed, and now history has brought us a new American administration of a president who sees reality as it is, who knows who's leading global terror, and who views Israel as a major ally. Together you will be able to restore to the world its compass, its moral compass, the compass of justice. And the world will fall in line with that compass. It's not only in Europe is facing the problem of the refugees, and with meetings with members of the administration, they are waiting to hear what you have to say, Mr. Prime Minister, to hear what Israel's policy is, and they will honor it. Indeed, we have a new era ahead of us. Take advantage of it. At this conference, we will focus on the question of what our Arab neighbors say also. We have with us authentic representatives of the Arab population in Judea and Samaria and the other parts of Israel who want to tell us what they have to say on the subject of sovereignty. They understand that we are here to stay forever, and so are they. They are waking up from the illusion of the Palestinian state and are looking optimistically and hopefully to a life together under Israeli sovereignty, what already partially exists on the ground. Mr. Prime Minister, conclude the bloody struggle over who this land belongs to. The application of sovereignty will significantly strengthen Israel's strategic position in the Middle East and in the world. The Arabs will know where we are headed. The illusion of the Palestinian state will evaporate, and the terror that is fueled by Palestinian hope will also die down. But it is not enough to apply sovereignty. We need also to fulfill that sovereignty. We cannot leave the situation as it is today in Jerusalem and in the Negev. The central government must govern and not to make do with giving benefits and improving conditions for the Arab population. The State of Israel must set clear conditions of law and order, loyalty to the state, national service, changing the content of the textbooks, zero tolerance for incitement, zero terror. Private individual rights, yes, but not national rights. The life of both peoples side by side under Israeli sovereignty involve a lot of fears, and it's natural and understandable. And indeed, in order to address these concerns properly, together with the application of sovereignty, we must strengthen Jewish identity, encourage having more children and aliyah, and encourage emigration on the part of those who do not want to live in a Jewish state. These are the challenges that face us, Mr. Prime Minister, and it's time to move ahead and to initiate. After 50 years, it's the time of the temporary has run out, as the late Uriel Litzur said. And above all the political considerations, we will also mention Eretz Yisrael belongs to the people of Israel, and a people has the right, we as a people have the right to apply our sovereignty over it. It's time for sovereignty.
The conference this evening would not have been able to take place without the partnerships of many. And since the list is very long, we will not mention all the names, but you could see it on the screen, our thank you screen throughout the evening. But we must point out a few. First and foremost, thank you to God Almighty. And we see His help every single day by integrating the idea of sovereignty in the Israeli public, in Israeli discourse. And I see more and more public personas, politicians, leaders, policy makers are becoming part of this process. Without this divine help, nothing would have happened. And now we have the more earthly thanks, our deep esteem to our dear friend, Mrs. Shona Moskowitz, who loves Israel and who has accompanied with her husband, Irvin, of blessed memory, our enterprise of settlement for many years. Thank you to Mrs. Adina Citron from Just Peace Israel. Thank you to our friend, Robert Wolf. Thank you, Helen Friedman. Thank you to our dear friends from the AFSI organizations who are always fighting for Israel in the United States. Thank you to our friends from Canada. Some of them came here, especially Michael Zorn, Carol, and some others as well. Canadians for Israel Legal Rights, Toronto Zionist Council. Thank you to Renee Margolis from Women in Green, who worked very hard with all her friends from Women in Green. Thank you to all the presenters, the lecturers who've come here tonight, to Udi, Davidi, who will entertain us a little later. And this is a special opportunity to say thank you to Be'Sheva, and the newspaper Be'Sheva, as well as the radio channel, who love Israel, and they serve as the voice of the Israel lovers. Thank you to Drew Saada and to the team of the Be'Sheva newspaper, who worked hard to produce this conference. It is wonderful to work with such wonderful people, such great people, Jonathan, Dudi, all of you, the entire team. And the person who started this whole Jewish revolution is Rabbi Shulamit Melamed with Rabbi Zalman Melamed. The Rebbitzin is supposed to be here. Maybe she's not here yet. Are you here? Okay, hello. We don't have enough words to thank you, to express our thanks. Chapeau, thank you to you and the Be'Sheva team. Ladies and gentlemen, a few short notifications before we begin. We know that each and every one of you, the whole issue of sovereignty burns within you, and you would all love to express your opinions and your thoughts. We understand that with such a huge public, and first of all, thank you for coming. And we have such a tight schedule, we'll not be able to conduct ourselves with remarks from the audience or with questions from the audience. So that is why we have organized some sort of a Hyde Park outside, and our photographer Ella is waiting outside near the sign. All the people want sovereignty, and he will be happy to record anything you wish to express in any language you wish to express. Hopefully we will upload everything, but please talk for less than 2 minutes. We'll upload everything to Facebook or YouTube, and in so doing you will give you a stage to express your opinion. And if you want to say something to the Prime Minister, you have little postcards in your folders. Please write down what you wish to say. Put it in the box outside. It will all be sent to the Prime Minister tomorrow. When we started off on this campaign, we decided to give the floor and the stage to all the different opinions. And this is what we'll do this evening as well. On the other hand, we understood that it's time to take action. That is why the Forum of Sovereignty and Women in Green, we formulated principles and a program. It's all in your folders as well. We'll be happy to receive your remarks by email. This is just an initial program, and this is a starting point. We wish to create and formulate a DIVA plan. Avram Shvort is here, and some of the other members of the Sovereignty Forum. In the folder that you received, you'll also find the survey that we conducted before the conference, and you can see that most of the Jewish people say no to a Palestinian state, yes to sovereignty. You also find a little envelope for those who wish to donate, to contribute, and you all know that all the activities that we do is all due to your partnership and your support. I would like to thank you all, and hopefully we'll continue to do and act. We're happy to announce that we found a way to conduct the panels this evening, one after the other, and not parallel sessions, and there will be no need this evening to go out of the room or to choose a panel. And last but not least, please switch off your phones. We are very happy to call upon the journalist and the writer Yifat Erlich. She will be the moderator this evening. Good evening. I think we can still smell the Tu B'Shvat smells. It's a very Israeli smell. We also are very much excited for the Prime Minister's visit to the USA. We do hope that he takes the smell of those almond trees that have started to blossom and will give it to Trump with a lot of love for Israel. 50 years since we returned to these lands, and again marking the jubilee of this sovereignty, the time has come that this is our land. We convened here today to show you the vision of sovereignty, not to just sit on one laurels and not do anything, but we would like to suggest a proposal. We want to change the reality and not to be dragged by it. There are a lot of hues and colors to sovereignty, and there are different opinions and voices, but I do want to say that I'm very much moved to be standing here after two great women, Nadia Matar and Yehudit Katsover, who spoke. And these are women who instill inspiration. They move things forward and have moved things for many years. Maybe in the past they were looked upon as the Meshuggahs, those crazy women. Today everybody follows them in wake of their vision, their dreams, because of their courage, because of that ability to lead, to push forward, to promote, to be devoted and dedicated. I'm very much moved. I think it's a very big merit for me. Thank you so much. We are waiting for Minister Elkin, who is still at a cabinet meeting. He will come later on, but we do have a few things to say from Minister Gideon Saar, and I will just read out what he had to say. I extend my blessings for this conference that will deal with sovereignty and placing it on the agenda. In a few months from now, we will mark 50 years to the Six-Day War and to the liberation of Judea and Samaria. The time has come to place on the national agenda this vision of applying sovereignty on Judea and Samaria, especially the sea areas. I think this approach reflects our political views as well as our obligation to the thousands of citizens living in Judea and Samaria. But we have to conduct ourselves with great wisdom and responsibility and gradually. But we cannot do this without taking a decision that this is our objective. Yours sincerely, Minister Gideon Saar.